They say the deepest wounds are inflicted by those we trust the most. This is a story of love, betrayal, and the threads of family bonds unraveling one secret at a time. Sarah Miller stood at her bedroom window, watching the first rays of dawn paint the Boston skyline in shades of gold. At 23, she had everything figured out, or so she thought. A fresh graduate with dreams as vast as the horizon, she never imagined her perfect world would soon shatter like a mirror dropped on marble floors. "Emma, you're going to be late again!" Sarah's voice carried up the stairs to her younger sister's room. The response was a muffled groan and the rustle of blankets. Their mother, Catherine Miller, appeared in the doorway, her face bearing the gentle wrinkles of a woman who had raised 2 daughters alone after their father's death 5 years ago. Let her sleep a little longer, Sarah. She was up late studying. But Sarah knew better. She'd heard Emma's midnight phone conversations, though she couldn't make out the words. Just the hushed, excited tones of a 19-year-old with secrets. Mom, she needs to maintain her routine. College isn't going to wait for her. As Sarah adjusted her carefully chosen outfit, a blue dress that brought out her eyes, Emma finally emerged, her blonde hair a chaotic cascade around her face. There was something different about her lately, a gleam in her eye that Sarah couldn't quite place. "Where are you going?" Emma asked, eyeing Sarah's dress. "You look like you're meeting someone special." Sarah laughed, the sound light and carefree, a sound she would later struggle to remember how to make. "Just shopping with Monica. We haven't had a girls' day in forever. Can I come?" Emma's eyes lit up with an intensity that seemed odd for a simple shopping trip. "Please?" "Not today, sweetie. College first, remember?" Sarah didn't notice the flash of determination that crossed her sister's face, the first sign of the storm brewing beneath their peaceful surface. Across town, Michael Thompson stood in his father's office, the weight of responsibility heavy on his broad shoulders. At 25, he was being groomed to take over Thompson Enterprises, one of Boston's most prestigious consulting firms. His best friend Jason had just borrowed his Mercedes for a date, leaving Michael with his father's old Bentley. "Son," William Thompson's voice filled the room, "I need you to deliver these documents to Nancy Miller's office. It's crucial for the merger." Michael nodded, not knowing that this simple errand would alter the course of not just his life, but many others. As he drove through the city streets, the old Bentley suddenly sputtered and died. "Perfect," he muttered. Pulling over. That's when he saw her, a vision in blue, standing beside her broken-down car, phone in hand. Their eyes met through the car window, and something electric passed between them. Later, they would both describe it as fate, destiny, or perhaps the universe's cruelest joke. "Car trouble?" Michael asked, stepping out. Sarah smiled, and his heart skipped. "Seems like we're in the same boat." The irony of their matching predicaments broke the ice, and soon they were sharing a ride to their respective destinations. Neither mentioned that they took the longest possible route, both savoring each moment of their chance encounter. "I'm Sarah," she said as they neared her destination. "Michael Thompson," he replied, then added with a hint of surprise, "Wait, are you Nancy Miller's daughter?" Sarah's eyes widened. "And you're William Thompson's son? Our parents are working on the merger together." It seemed like the universe was conspiring to bring them together. Little did they know, someone else was watching their budding romance with growing obsession. Emma stood at her bedroom window that evening, watching Sarah return home. Her sister's face glowed with the unmistakable radiance of newfound love. Emma's diary entry that night would later send chills down Sarah's spine. "I saw him first, in Dad's old photographs from the company parties. Michael Thompson, the prince I've been dreaming of. Sarah doesn't deserve him. She gets everything. The grades, the looks, Mom's approval, but not this time. This time, I'll make sure I win." The weeks that followed were a dance of stolen glances and coffee dates. Michael and Sarah fell deeper in love, while Emma watched from the shadows, her plan slowly taking shape. When Monica, Sarah's best friend, noticed Emma's strange behavior, she tried to warn Sarah. "There's something off about the way your sister looks at Michael. It's intense." Sarah brushed it off. "She's just excited to see me happy. Emma's always been a bit dramatic." But Monica wasn't convinced. "Just be careful, Sarah. Something doesn't feel right." The tension culminated at Emma's 19th birthday party. Sarah had helped plan everything, from the decorations to the guest list. She even convinced Michael to come, wanting her sister and the man she loved to get along. During the party, Emma requested a dance with Michael. Sarah watched them, smiling, not noticing how her sister's hands lingered too long on Michael's shoulders, or how she whispered something in his ear that made him stiffen. That night, Emma made her first move. She appeared at Michael's apartment, tears streaming down her face. "I need to talk to you," she sobbed. "I don't know who else to turn to." Michael, ever the gentleman, let her in. It was the first of many mistakes. Emma's visits became more frequent, always when Sarah was busy or away. She played the role of the vulnerable younger sister perfectly, sharing her fears, her dreams, and eventually her feelings. "I think I'm in love with you," she confessed one rainy afternoon. "I've never felt this way before." Michael's rejection was kind but firm. "Emma, I love your sister. You're young, and these feelings will pass." But Emma wasn't taking no for an answer. Her diary entries grew darker, more obsessive. "He'll see. Sarah's not right for him. I know exactly what he needs, what he wants. Soon he'll understand. We're meant to be together." The night everything changed, Emma came to Michael's apartment again. This time she had a plan. She knew exactly what to say, what to do, how to play on his momentary weakness. When Sarah learned of her sister's pregnancy 3 months later, her world imploded. The doctor's words echoed in her head, 12 weeks along. She confronted Michael, her voice barely a whisper. "Did you sleep with my sister?" His silence was answer enough. The confrontation that followed would be talked about in whispers for years to come. Emma, triumphant rather than ashamed, faced her sister's fury with a cold smile. "He chose me," she declared. "Deep down, he always wanted me." Sarah's scream of anguish brought their mother running. "How could you? My own sister!" Catherine Miller stood between her daughters, tears streaming down her face. "This can't be happening. My girls, what have you done?" The wedding was rushed, a somber affair that felt more like a funeral than a celebration. Sarah didn't attend, couldn't bear to watch. Instead, she sat with Monica in their old treehouse, where they had once shared dreams of true love and happy endings. "Their marriage is built on lies," Sarah whispered, her voice hollow. "How can anything good come from such betrayal?" Monica held her friend close. "Sometimes the greatest pain leads us to our true destiny. This isn't the end of your story, Sarah." But Sarah knew something had ended, her innocence, her trust, her belief in fairy tales. As she sat there watching the sun set on her sister's wedding day, she made a silent vow. She would rise from these ashes stronger than before. Miles away, Emma stood in her white dress, Michael beside her, both of them trapped in a cage of their own making. She had won the battle. But as she looked into her new husband's eyes and saw only resignation, she began to wonder about the war. Catherine watched her daughters' lives diverge that day, one towards healing, the other towards a happiness built on quicksand. She understood then that some wounds never heal. They just become part of who we are. The story of the Miller sisters would be whispered about in Boston's social circles for years to come. A cautionary tale of love, betrayal, and the price we pay for the choices we make. As for Sarah, they say she left Boston that winter, carrying with her the lessons learned from loving too deeply and trusting too completely. Some say she found her true happiness far from the shadows of betrayal. Others say she never quite recovered from the wound inflicted by those she loved most. But that's another story for another time.